along with these economic changes, there were some material changes also that were happening, or some technological changes and material changes that were happening. For example, the iron and steel really became popular. Till then there was technology, but I mean, ironsmiths, ironsmiths, coppersmiths. These were individuals or a few families making individual items. So the scale was very small. But once you have large factories and steam power, the machine, remember I told you that the discovery of chemistry and the discovery of physics led to mechanics, and from mechanics we moved to making machines. And once Europeans started making machines, they could produce steel in mass quantity, and that steel was then used to make more machines and more metal. So metal, machines, and motor is your steam engine. It is something that generates power. All of these things entirely transformed uh, production system, and it made the production system like what was in earlier time an x quantity that was produced in a certain time. Now you had 100x produced in the same amount of time with much lesser labor. uh, but all of this meant that you needed a more literate labor force. Okay, because you're talking about machines, you're talking about at least a minimal understanding of how mechanics work. You need at least what is today ITI and Polytechnic. Okay, at least a preliminary level of understanding and education is required. Until then, everybody was, majority of the society, more than 95% of the society was illiterate. And they just did physical jobs. Whatever they did, even if it's an ironsmith or a coppersmith, they can go, they will learn the skill and they will do it. But now it is not like that. In a factory to work, you need, even the workforce needs to have, if you go to a typical Maruti factory, um, even the worker level, everybody is educated. They're at least literate. They may be a graduate, they may not all be graduates and postgraduates, but they're all literate. Because to work in a factory, you need a certain amount of understanding. And the supervisory level, you need very large management to manage finance, HR, accounting, things like that, which are side functions. And to be able to do that, you again need, there you actually need graduates and postgraduates, because supervisory roles require a lot of, they were they required a lot of accounting, they required a lot of note making, and all of that could have been only possible with people who were literate enough, which is why education and schools started widely. People started moving away from their villages where they used to work to the cities. New cities were being made. This is the process of urbanization. So all these material changes were happening in the society as a part of the industrial revolution. So so you have, I just explained to you how the steel and the machine and the motor increased production, and it has led to the industrial revolution and urbanization, because for these to form, you need cities. Because two things are happening. One, you're removing away large people from the rural peasantry, and you're bringing them to the city, and you need to make housing arrangements for them. You need to make, and the factories are usually large. The initial factories used to be very, very huge. And you need a very different kind of a lifestyle here, as opposed to the more rustic, relaxed lifestyle of a village. So all of this is happening, urbanization. The reason why I'm not going too detailed into urbanization and this is because industrialization is because these are specific topics. Urbanization is an entire big topic that comes later in the syllabus. So does industrialization as part of the economic sociology, a chapter that is there, another topic. We will go in depth into the industrialization and urbanization. So it will just be repetition. For now, I know that you got an idea. And actually, for this answer, you don't need more than that. When a question comes, because the NCRT textbook, instead of using the term intellectual changes in modern Europe and social changes in modern Europe, what it does is it says intellectual changes in modern Europe and material changes in modern Europe. Till now, couple of times the question did come in UPSC saying what are the intellectual changes in modern Europe. But I am afraid if the UPSC goes by NCRT textbook and decides to give material changes in modern Europe, you should be able to write these topics, which is the metal, the machine, the motor, the industrial revolution, and the urbanization. These are the material, the tangible changes that came about as part of the modernity.